Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is the left pedal, and last week we got to get off-road in a 2022 Jeep Wrangler JL. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Jeep's technical details and specs to see what makes the vehicle so competent. Going to cover a lot of information in the next few minutes, so let's get into it. Jeep Wrangler is a car that gives you a lot of different options depending on what you want out of it. The one we drove last week was powered by a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. The engine was surprisingly impressive and incredibly fun off-road. The 270 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque got the truck wherever we needed it. Like I said in the review video, such a small engine would not have been my choice if I were going to buy a Wrangler for myself, but I gotta say I was totally impressed. The fact that it was a turbocharged 4-cylinder made it a great choice for the Colorado mountains. Even at high altitudes, the turbo is capable of compressing enough air for the engine to function properly without losing all your power. The only downside is that it's not offered with a manual transmission. If you want a stick shift, you're going to want the 3.6-liter V6, the only engine in the lineup that lets you change your own gears. The Pentastar V6 makes 285 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque, and is still probably what I would choose if I was going to buy one for myself. I've actually had a Pentastar engine, not in a Jeep, but it was a very impressive engine for its size. If you really need your Jeep to get down and dirty, you also have the 3-liter Eco Diesel option, pushing 260 horsepower and an impressive 442 pound-feet of torque. If you just want to go crazy and you need a lot of horsepower, you have the Rubicon 392, stuffed with a big heavy-duty 6.4-liter Hemi V8 and making 470 horsepower with 470 torque. Finally, there's the 4xe option, a turbocharged 4-cylinder hybrid. This model boasts an impressive 375 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque, making the hybrid more powerful than every other option except for the Hemi V8. The Wrangler is offered in either a 2-door or 4-door configuration, both of which feature removable roofs and doors and a body-on-frame design. The suspension is arguably the most important aspect for the Wrangler. The vehicle does not take a lot of compromises for comfort. It's set up to be an off-roader. The tough 4-link suspension and solid axles make it great for trails and climbing. The beefy suspension is a choice that prioritizes the vehicle's purpose by sacrificing smoothness on the pavement. Ours had disc brakes all the way around, and they had no problem stopping the heavy SUV on any terrain. The Jeep Wrangler's 0 to 60 mile/hour time ranges from nearly 8 seconds to just under 5 seconds depending on the engine and options, with the top speed electronically limited to about 100 miles an hour. The body sits comfortably above the ground with about 10 inches of clearance. The 4-door is 188 inches long with the 2-door at 167 inches. Both models are at about 74 inches wide and 74 inches tall. The Wrangler is obviously a heavy vehicle, weighing in at about 4,000 pounds all the way up to 4,500 pounds depending on your choice of options. The interior of the Jeep is not bad at all, but it's certainly function over form. Everything feels sturdy, and with the new JL you get a pretty fancy big infotainment screen and good audio. It's perfectly acceptable for long trips. We put 1,000 miles on ours and only complained a little bit. The exterior of the JL looks just like what you'd think a modern Wrangler should look like. They've beefed it up a little and added some curves, but it's still that classic Wrangler shape that we all know and love. I don't think anybody really wants it to change that much. They do offer some really cool colors. Ours was a pretty sweet dark red, but depending on the year you can get orange, green, blue, pretty much whatever color you want. Before going into this, I was never really a Jeep person. I was always of the mindset that if I wanted an off-roader, I'd just get a pickup truck. However, my experience with this one totally changed my perspective. The Jeep is not really meant to compete with pickup trucks. The Jeep has a job, and that job is to be a Jeep. That's really the only thing these cars are good at. Unlike every single other SUV on the road, the Wrangler does not neuter itself in an attempt to be comfortable. It's an off-road vehicle, and both the interior and mechanics of the thing can take a beating. Even the 4-door has a pretty short wheelbase, and we were able to easily take it places that would have been very scary in a pickup truck. Half the body of the Jeep is removable, and basically everything about it is designed to give the driver a good time while they're out, without having to worry about messing anything up. I wouldn't buy a new 4-cylinder truck, but I probably would buy the 4-cylinder Jeep we drove last week. As much as I hate to admit it, the Wrangler is an excellent vehicle. If you want to see more about it, make sure to check out last week's review video. We typically focus on sports cars, but this was one of the most fun review videos I've ever done. Anyways, thank you for watching, consider subscribing to us here at The Left Pedal, and I will see you next time.